first.
No, just don't take it personally. It's just I don't want you to ever touch me again. Ever. I saw what you went through. That was hideous.
I'm back.
I felt so badly for you.
Not sick yet much anymore.
Ish. Don't. I'm gonna have to get.
Oh.
Ooh.
You better start drinking that stuff. I'm
Welcome
going to tell
to
you.
the Todd and Erin Daily
You do
Stream.
not want to know.
No, it was a really bad 48 hours, and I will do anything not to catch whatever it is.
I threw up a spatula.
We don't have to share.
No, I know what happened though. I figured it out. I'm not sure you can see on New Year's Eve. See that scratch right there? Blue crabitis. That's what I got.
That's an actual. You diagnosed yourself.
Looked it up on the
Internet?
the interweb.
Yeah.
Blue crabitis. How many days after New Year's did I get sick?
It was actually 2 days.
That's the germination of time of the.
You don't think it was
blue crab?
the old eggnog that you power chugged so as not to waste it?
Okay, could have been that.
All right, third in our resolution series for 2019, and we've been talking to people about what mattered to them, what was important. And one of the biggest ones was, how do I succeed? And there's so much more to it than just like digging in or trying to work hard. And people sometimes feel overwhelmed by, what do I need to do? Well, one of the most successful people we know is Dan Young, who is the bazillionaire owner of PC Laptops. And this guy is trying to make a million millionaires, and he's creating what he calls the millionaire mind. Have a look. All right, thanks, Zach. Okay, so I've been dying to ask you this part because it goes back to that awakening, or do you want to try some of the crap? Because it's freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That awakening of where you went, okay, I want to do the millionaire mind, and I want to like teach my secrets and stuff. I want to mentor. So where did that come from, where this suddenly now is a priority? This needs to happen.
It was interesting because I was making 1-minute videos, just short blurbs on Instagram, advice that maybe I could share. Because, people have low attention spans, right? 60 seconds or less. So I'd make these 60 seconds or less, and people started liking it. Started getting fans, and I'm like, interesting. Then one guy messaged me, and I think I told Todd about this. And he said, my kid got terminally sick, my wife left me, all this terrible stuff. And he said, I was in a really dark place, I was thinking about taking my own life, but I watched your video, and it gave me a different perspective. At first I thought he was going to hit me up for money and all kinds of some weird, because you get weird stuff on social.
I got the sad story, but then.
But then, like a couple months later, he messaged me and goes, hey man, so this is where I'm at now, total 180. And he goes, I just want to say thanks, man, that's it. And I'm like, huh.
I changed a life.
So my wife was like,
that's so incredible.
You should do more of this. She's like, do you like doing them? I'm like, yeah, I was doing them anyway. She's like, well, if it's really helping people, maybe you can take it to the next level, so.
And thus the Millionaire Mind was born. Now you have like 100...
Millionaire Code.
Millionaire Code, thank you. I don't
Dan's
know why I call
Millionaire
it
Code.
mine.
But it is in your mind.
This is true, but it's the code. So you have like 100,000 followers or something on Instagram. It's like nuts.
Yeah, I mean, we got a few.
Have you started exploding?
So.
We have a few followers. When did it start exploding, or when people starting to take notice of what you were doing?
I think really it first started with PC Laptops, remember, on the Facebook? Because we started pushing that hard in 2006, 7, 8. And we hit like Utah fans, 100,000 Utah, which is a lot because there's only like 800,000 people at the time on Facebook here. And so we're like, hey, people think this is semi-entertaining, okay.
Wow.
And so I was sharing the blurbs there, but what I want to do is kind of spin it off a little bit because people were wanting to see mainly computer stuff, And so to talk about life stuff, I thought I'd make a little different page for that.
So what do you think, what's been the most powerful reaction to something you've said? I mean, which one of the millionaire codes has just exploded?
Really the story of losing everything almost and being mentally in a sad, depressed, dark place in my mind.
And I know that's awful because you're thinking people are really happy that I had a really awful period, but they get hope from that. Like it is possible to be where everything is lost and this is how I rebuilt.
And reset.
It's enormously inspiring.
Because everybody goes through, dark, terrible stuff, man. So
you were in this really, really crappy state, bad place. So how did you change it? What did you do?
I started exercising, eating right, quitting bad habits, and that really gave me the energy level. And then I stopped spending time with negative people.
This one is tricky because sometimes you don't recognize that some of your closest friends could be toxic. So how did you get to that point where you went, okay, this person is not good for me?
There's one question. When I'm with this person, do I feel stronger, better, more energized? Or do I feel like I've had the life sucked out of me like a vampire just like ate my head?
We've had this, yeah.
And or did I feel neutral? So if I felt like I was like less life force, I wasn't just like, hey, I never want to see you again. I just really scheduled less engagements with that person. And still friends with a lot of those people today. I was just not spending as much time, you know.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So who's like, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this. Who's the most interesting character who's come into your life through the Millionaire Code? Have you had somebody that like, you've met them, you've kind of taken them under your wing, or?
Well, probably the most significant Utah characters, this is before Dan's Millionaire Code, but I mentored a little bit, is Mike and Toby Roberts. They have a company called City Creek Mortgage.
Yeah.
And Mike and Toby were doing pretty good, and they were customers. And we just went out to sushi, and they're like, so how could we make our company better? And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not a mortgage person, but I'm like, you guys are a good-looking couple. Why don't you put your face on a billboard and make your teeth really white, get a good tan, and put a big bright light so people can see how handsome and beautiful you guys are? And he's like,
that's right. They do everything with that kind of imagery, don't they?
He's
That's
like,
right.
Okay. And I'm like, do you have a brand name, man? He's like, well, City Creek Mortgage. I'm like, what, are you associated with the mall? What are you doing? And I'm like, what do you call yourself? Well, your name's Mike, right? And you do mortgage? Why don't you call yourself Mortgage Mike? And he's like, okay.
Dang.
And so they just did it.
This is over the course of one evening of sushi?
Yeah, they're friends, you know. And so they just executed. So, I mean, a couple words and they just did it, and they're incredible. So,
really?
Yeah.
That's
I love them.
What do you think is the biggest mistake you're seeing people make where you're like, just don't do that? You know, where they're trying to build business and they're trying to be into this, they try to jump in. What do you see that's just killing you and you wish you could just take them aside and go, don't do this thing?
Inconsistency. So the biggest thing is people getting this, again, entrepreneurial seizure, whatever you want to call it, excitement, just and then doing it for like a week or two or a month, and they're just like, no, it's not working, sorry.
I'm tired now, never mind.
Yeah, okay, forget it, let's do something new.
I didn't get my million in 1 month, so I'm finished.
And this drives me nuts though too, because I mean, I have some really great employees that are just, whoa, like a rocket. But I have some that like, oh, this position's not doing it for me. And they switch, okay, man. Switch. And I have some people that have been with me 7, 8 years and they've pushed reset like 6 times. I'm like, why are you doing that, man? You could have just done the same thing in the beginning and you would have been up here.
Yeah, your momentum was on the way. It could have been.
Yeah. But a lot of times it's just age and maturity. Sometimes like, you know what, you're right, okay. Then they get on track. So. Yeah.
What have been the 3 things that you want to keep and the 3 things that you want to get rid of? I mean, if you look back at this, I mean, this is like an empire now. This is what you've built. What are the 3 things that you want to keep no matter what happens from now on? What are the 3 things that you'd kind of like to drop out of? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I really, really, really like real estate development. I think it's super fun. And it's something that, you know, you can pass on to generations and do stuff like that. The second thing is to keep is charitable foundation, continuing to nurture.
Do you want to do a Dan Foundation of some kind at some point?
Maybe when I get really older. Right now I like to pick what I want to do and be involved. Foundation, sometimes it's interesting. You have all these people bidding to get donations. I'm not into that. I like to pick what I want to support and I'm passionate about and support that. And the third thing is mentoring. I want to continue to mentor and, you know, help people, whatever they do.
This is taking all your time. You're mentoring people who are just at the beginning and you've got a conglomerate to run. How are you doing this?
Well, it's great people that we have. Now, it doesn't mean ignore the businesses.
I know you don't.
And I do work a lot. And there is no, some people think, oh, being an entrepreneur, you get to sit on a beach, drink pina coladas, watch your money roll in.
No.
I don't know who gets that story because, you know, like you hear about 4-hour work week or whatever. Yeah, right, whatever. Like if you want to be engaged with scale your companies, this takes more than 4 hours. So, but I enjoy it. I don't think it's a sad thing. It's a good thing. It's fun. Yeah.
You know, one of the big things that a lot of people talk about. Wow. Do you want to hear one of the weirdest medical stories ever?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Like
I do.
many tell me something good. This starts like sort of awful, becomes awesome. Okay, but there's a little dude, Perrin Miller. He was visiting Salt Lake City, visiting relatives with his family. One of the reasons why is that his family lives in North Carolina, and they just lost their house to Hurricane Florence.
Oh,
So it was a good
a
time.
little bit ago, yeah.
Yeah, to come and visit family, and while they're working out stuff like where they're going to live
Right,
and
right,
things like
right.
that. Adorable little kid, and he had been having headaches for like months, and he's only 8 years old. And he's like, "Ma, I got headaches. They're drug me," and she would give him, children's Tylenol, take him to the doctor. The doctor goes, "Oh, it's his new eyeglasses. He's just getting used to the prescription. He'll be fine." But his headaches persisted. Well, when he came here, obviously North Carolina, they're on the beach, sea level. When he came up here to the crazy high altitude, the headaches just exploded, and he was in absolute misery.
Okay, so they got worse. I mean,
Yeah, migraines, vomiting, and so they were worried, and they're just like, this can't be right. They took him to Primary Children's Medical Center. By the way, they should have a wing at the ER there named after my boys. I love you so very much. So they took him there at Perrin, and found out he was diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma multiforme.
what is that?
It's brain cancer. And they instantly took him in to have surgery.
Right.
So the little guy's got stitches upon stitches upon stitches, but they saved his life. Now, he's got a long journey ahead of him, according to Dad. He needs to stay for radiation and chemotherapy. It's very rare, and it can be aggressive in children, but the important thing is they caught it.
Interesting.
Now, if they can finish treatment and get this little guy through it, then they can do it. But if he had stayed there in North Carolina,
Right.
the tumor could have grown to a stage where
Would've
it was
been done.
inoperable.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a story, and a lady was taking pictures of her kid, and her kid was like 4 years old. And she's showing him off like we all do, right?
That's what I was
he's like,
thinking about.
oh, he's like, so cute and all this stuff. And then one of the people who saw the photo said, you're going to want to go see a doctor. And I'm like, you're like, what? Because
My kid's not that ugly.
in one of his eyes, I think he had, I think the picture was of him, what do you call it when your eyes flash?
There's
Red eye.
Yeah,
red
retinal, yeah.
Yeah, red eye. And one was different. And that's what triggered the doctor, the medical doctor,
Isn't that
optometrist to go, hey, I want you to go see. And
Isn't that incredible?
sure enough, it was. And they caught it in time.
So Perrin is beautiful. He says that really the survival rate for this is like 20%. He said, but he starts off in a best case scenario because they were able to remove the entire tumor from his brain. So
Primary.
now the goal is for radiation.
Primary
Now
tumor.
they've set up a GoFundMe page because, as you can imagine, after losing their house and suddenly being faced with this enormous medical procedure, they have a GoFundMe page. If you'd like to go to it, where we have the picture up here on the show today, and I'll also make sure that it's written down on Facebook so that you can go to it easily. But they've already raised $25,000 in 4
There you
days
go.
because everyone's like, this is a freaking miracle. So
We have
good luck,
too many
Erin.
tell you something's good today.
The next one's much sweeter. It's much nicer and easier to go with. Everybody was sleeping off on New Year's Day, sleeping off the festivities all throughout the United Kingdom.
Right?
Everyone parties hard. There's a lot of stuff out on the
a mess.
streets. A lot of forgotten red party cups and a lot of
a
missing
mess.
shoes and feathers. And,
It's a mess.
it's like us coming back from Burning Man. It's a lot
Just
like
us.
that.
We're always a mess.
In any case, this is what happens, though. Over 1,000 young members of the Muslim Youth Association take to the streets of 50 different UK localities, and they do this every New Year's Day. They all get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They say a prayer. They do a blessing for a happy, healthy new year for everybody in their city, and
Right.
they clean it up. The Qamzafar is the British head of this group, and he says Islam urges every Muslim to take part in charitable giving, community service, and promoting cleanliness. He said that the Youth Association has always tried to help people understand the sense of civic responsibility. So we've been doing the New Year's cleanup now for many years, and every year we get more and more members
It's so
coming to
cool.
help.
Because they just jump in with the city and do all, I mean, that's just,
And they're all wearing their orange vests, and they're just picking stuff up.
All right.
And a couple of the teenagers are like, there's some terrible things we pick up, but it's all good.
terrible, terrible, tough decision ahead of you. Which crime story do you want? A or B? I will tease you
now I'm
with.
tempted.
I will tease you with one is the stupid dude, and the
I like
second
those.
one is the Italian Job. One of those stories.
Oh, it's got to be the Italian Job.
Italian Job.
Ordinarily, I always go for stupid, but the Italian Job sounds too cool.
All right, small city, southwest of Madrid, and basically there is an armored car driving down the freeway. That's how they whistle in Italy. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. And they're driving down the highway, so you got a 2-lane highway, like driving down, and they suddenly get into a construction zone. That's not odd at all. Right in front and in back, 2 semis turn sideways.
Hardcore.
They jump out. They light their cabs on fire.
Discouraging anyone from approaching, I'm thinking.
Then out of the bushes comes a backhoe. Dun, 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 dun. There's 3 people in the armored car.
I would be wetting myself if I were one of those 2.
Open the door. No. Open the door. No. Oh, all right. Bring in the machinery. And they basically peel the roof off the armored car.
Like the lid off a tin can?
Told the 3 guys, go, run.
Okay,
go.
okay.
Okay, we're good. And they tore off uninjured. And so they went and they got the $2.1 million out of the...
Well, you have to have inside information because armored trucks don't usually carry that much money. $2.1 million.
They knew what that was being transferred was the money from such and such and such and such.
That is the slickest thing I've ever heard.
Went around to their escape vehicle on the downhill side of the burning vehicle and drove away.
Do they have any clues, any things, any
No,
leads?
just the fact that they have the next script for the next Italian job.
Right?
Right?
That
or
is so slick.
Ocean's 42. That would be it. Okay.
That is so slick. Alrighty, by the way, it's time to pick a winner for Christopher's Prime Steakhouse dinner for 4, and that goes to Frank Krogman. Congratulations,
What?
Frank. We are very happy for you.
Have a wonderful time.
If you would like to win dinner for 4, all you have to do is just like or share the show today, make a comment, let us know you're around. We also have other Facebook pages if you would like to share those or like them as well, and that also enters you to win. We have Tell Me Something Good, Always Happy Stories, Mistletoe Mania, because there's always room for Christmas, and of course The Beautiful Dark, which is our Halloween page.
All right, and so just a reminder, don't screw around with blue crab and chug eggnog.
Blue crabitis. I was diagnosed on the internet.
I threw up a spatula. Oh, have a good weekend.
You're never touching me again. Don't touch me.
Okay.